I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
You want to talk about being mad as hell and not going to take it anymore. That's this guy right here. We'll talk about that here in just a moment. And who I'm mad at, I think will shock you. It will surprise you all of you that are in here. Let me make sure we've got everything going the way it's supposed to be. Yes, I'm live. No. Okay. I'll work on that. I'm working on putting in a list for federal government. I'm not even going to repeat what was asked of me. All right. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Sorry. I must not have. Let me quickly turn on the red light here. Make sure the people outside know I'm live. All right. We're live. Sorry. We're going a little late. It's Kate's fault. She's not here. Kate's running a little late tonight. And by a little late, it's 9:07 where we are. But it's 6:07 where Kate's at. She's running so late. She's like 3 hours late. It's well behind time for her. So I'll blame it all on Kate. Give me a second here. Let me get this loaded in the way I need to make sure that everybody is doing what they're supposed to be doing. Everybody's saying, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. While I'm doing this, you all could be doing what you're supposed to be doing, which is hitting that like button and doing those things. That would be very helpful if you could do that. And we would graciously appreciate all of the thumbs that you decide to give us. Ring the bell if you have not done that. Please communicate with us. Comment over here on the right-hand side. Comment down below. Just depends on when you're watching the show. You comment over here if you're watching now live at 9:08 Eastern PM, 9 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday, February 5th. You comment down below if you're watching anytime later than that. And let me make sure here. Then yeah, do that. Share the show with everyone you know. Sorry, I've got a lot going on. Hey, follow us everywhere on X, Bilbrey Live on X, Facebook, Kristopher H. Bilbrey, which is facebook.com/Bilbrey318. The Political Spotlights Facebook page is facebook.com/Political Spotlight 318. We are on, obviously, YouTube, Rumble, and everywhere else. There's the studio line and our 2 emails, my private email, and then the email that goes to Kate, Brando, and I. So please check that out. Do everything you need to do there. And then, let me see here. Last thing. Sorry. I like to try to get all this stuff done. I'm stuck using Facebook. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out a way to walk Jeff through this. Let me see if I can figure out a way before we get started. We like to try to take care of everybody. Hello, Larry. Let's see Cloud and Cricket. Everybody's here. Michael, hello. Okay, so Jeff, let me ask you this. Man, I don't know if I can do that while I'm on here. I'm going to try. So here's what you need to do. I'm going to, if I all of a sudden disappear, Kate's not here, so this is going to get weird. If I all of a sudden disappear, blame it on Jeff. Okay, give me a second here, y'all. Because I want to make sure. Okay, I think I can do this. So, Jeff, what you need to do, I'm gonna try to walk you through this if I can, and we'll see what we can do. Okay, so here's the deal. Share this tab instead. View. Here we go. All right. So Jeff, you're on YouTube. Here's your YouTube screen. Okay. I'm not going anywhere, Les. I'll be here. All right. So here is the YouTube screen. When you're on YouTube, oh, look who's joining us. It's Kate. Okay. Man, maybe. Yeah, there she is. Okay. Yeah, look. Hey, no. Put you up real quick. She's so late. It's still sunny where she's at.
That's not exactly true. That's facing the kitchen and light in the kitchen.
Oh, damn it.
There's a window and it's dark outside.
What time is it there?
It is 6:12. I'm 3 hours behind y'all.
6:12. Okay, I thought it was 6. Yeah. You're behind us. Yeah. Okay. As long as you're not ahead of us, I guess that's what matters.
Yeah. Now I can go away now, right?
Yeah. You want me to put you down? Okay. Les says hi. Kate says hi back. Okay, so Jeff, if you get on your YouTube and it looks like this, up here in the top hand corner, there should be something that says sign in. Sign in. And if you click on sign in, when you click on it, it should take you to a page that then looks like this. And it will show you all of the various YouTube or Gmail accounts you have, rather. And then if you click on your Gmail account, then you have to enter your password. And then you have to hit next. And when you do that, it should open you up to your YouTube page again. And then once you do that, you should be able to click on this video. you should be able to click on this video here. And then right over here is your chat box. You should be able to chat. Hello. And I just said hello from the chat. You should be able to do that. So wow, that's kind of a weird delay. Okay, so you should be able to do that. Now, if you can do that, great. If you can't, I can try to connect with you tomorrow and try to walk you through it a little bit better one-on-one. We'll see what we can do. We really like to try to connect with everybody here and make sure that you're all having the very best viewing experience possible. Because, look, why else would you be here if you weren't getting the very best out of it? All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, tonight's show, we have 3 topics that we want to talk about tonight. We're going to be talking a little bit about the committee meeting that occurred today down at the State House. We're going to then be talking about the Board of Works meeting from the City of Muncie that occurred today down at City Hall in Muncie. And then we're going to be talking about something that happened during the meeting, which then caused me to go, So that's what we're doing. We're going to do a little bit of follow-up on what happened at the State House, kind of figure out what's going on with this crazy-ass bill. And listen, I'm still following a lot of other bills at the same time. This is just right now. This has caught my attention, and there's a lot of momentum here. We're trying to fight it. It's a very, very, very steep uphill battle. Yes, City Hall, my old address. I used to live there. For those of you that are new here, I once lived at City Hall. It was a very harrowing experience. And when I go there for meetings and such now, the Bare Naked Ladies song plays in my head. Broken to the old apartment. This is where we used to live. Broken glass, broken hungry, broken hearts, and broken bones. This is where we used to live. Why did you paint the walls? Why did you clean the floors? Why did you plaster over the hole I punched in the door? This is where we used to live. And who knew those lyrics were so relevant to actually City Hall? That's amazing. I think there are a couple doors there I may have used to have punched in holes. All right. So going on to wait. We have something that we have to talk about first. Probably more important than anything else. Definitely more important than any politics. Definitely more important than making sure Jeff can YouTube. It's this. I went on yesterday and got the last haircut that I am ever going to get. It took a bunch of my time. It was a big waste of time. I only get haircuts for you guys. Literally came on last night and nobody said anything. I thought, okay, maybe it's because we've got guests. Nobody wants to be weird. Come on tonight. And literally, well, Les C. Cloud said something. Les C. said it. But nobody that normally bitches about it. So just letting you know. It looks good now, but we're going to get into shaggy territory because I'm like, screw it. If I'm not getting, oh, never mind. Wait a minute. I missed that. All right. Cheryl saved you all. Cheryl saved you all. She says, nice haircut, by the way. So see, when Kate's gone at the beginning, I don't see those beginning things because I literally just got you guys turned on about halfway through this. So yeah, I figured I would give you guys a little bit of crap for that. That's not fair. So, okay. Indiana House Bill. I know that is true. Let's see. Cloud said something about it yesterday, so that is true. I guess I was just all in my feels about it because I thought it looked good. Okay, so Indiana House Bill 1186. Again, it's this crazy nonsense that's going on down at the State House today. They were supposed to have the committee starting at 10:30. Oh, yeah. See, look. Well, you're missing out on all the great stuff then, Chris. If you're not looking, looking is is a majority of all that this is for. We could just mute this and you guys, most of the people are just here looking at me. I'm so wonderful looking here. No, okay. So, the committee was supposed to start at 10:30. I even logged on a few minutes late because they weren't starting. It was just, I was kind of panicking. I thought, I don't know if something's going on with my computer. I kept logging on from all these different devices and the thing was just there and it was up and they didn't post, we're going to be with you shortly or anything. They said nothing. And so I finally said, all right, screw it. We'll put it up. We'll go with it. And I'll just put something up that says, we're currently under delay for who knows what reason. And so we went live this morning at about 10:35. And then they were probably, 15 minutes, 20 minutes late, maybe more. Maybe more than that, honestly. And so I finally got on and talked a little bit to the people that were watching. And they right before a bunch of people jumped in, they did finally come on and say, we'll be with you momentarily. But then, hell, even after they said that, they were still gone for probably a good 10 or 15 minutes after that period. Let me see here if I can tell what happened. And this committee was very strange. So I don't know if you guys know how this goes or not, but the Indiana General Assembly, as well as the Indiana State House, there are elected officials in the state house side of things. There are 100 elected representatives, and on the state senate side there are 50. And then of those 50 and 100 elected officials, the 150, they are then broken down into differing committees. And there are all these different kinds of committees that look at specific things, similar to how like the City of Muncie council has like standing committees, the land and traffic, public safety. So they deal with things that fall within their name, essentially. And I can find out here, give you guys an understanding here of no, anyways, I guess that really truly doesn't matter. The bottom line is, so for example, last week it was in the Veterans Affairs and Public Safety, and that made sense. And then this week it went into the court and criminal code, courts and criminal code. Now, the reason it went into those two committees is because those two committees deal with basically they deal with the building blocks that make up the code. So I want to make sure people are aware this bill could be, or could have been, or could still be voted down in either one of these committees. If they would not have voted on it in the last committee, it would have been dead. But really, the last committee, that was the committee, in my opinion, that should have really been designed to worry about the part of this bill that we are all focused on. The situation with the reserves and the tier 2 and the tier 1 and the off-duty work and all of this. That's the committee that should have really dug in deep and went out researching and getting as much information pertaining to that. And when they only allowed the 1 day of testimony, man, that was such a kicker. I mean, it's just a pain, and it's not right. It's not fair. It's not a good way to govern. Just not having the input from the people who are putting your bill to be down there and making the money for sitting in that seat. The people that you represent, not allowing them to explain where they are coming from and why they support or don't support the bill is really lame. I mean, it's so bad. So when it passed and then when it went into this committee, the reason it's in this committee, courts and criminal code, again, they can look and talk about the entire bill, but their main drive is looking at the penalties as it relates to the end of the bill, what would be the criminal code when they're talking about you getting higher felonies if you're driving in a construction zone and you're brandishing a firearm, or you're shooting a firearm, or if you're, doing the things that that part of the bill is looking to affect. But again, the fact that they did not take testimony being day one in this committee, when they literally took testimony on every other bill that they had. No, that's wrong. There were 2 bills that they did not take testimony on. They did not take testimony on Bartles 1186, and then they did not take testimony on Becky Cash's bill that went after that went after 1186. I forget. It might have been 1412 was it, and it was a bill on reporting of child abuse and neglect. So start off, I'm pissed that they did not allow public comment. Okay, ridiculous. Straight out of the gate, ridiculous. Now, before we get into 1186, I want to talk about the fact that we were there and we watched what went on with a couple of other bills. There was a bill that went forward, Bill 1006, and it passed 10-3. There were 13 people in this committee, and it passed 10-3. And what this bill does, 1006, is it does a number of different things, okay? But the basis of the bill is it establishes a special prosecutor unit in the state of Indiana that allows the special prosecutors to have law clerks and investigators that can help them out when they get assigned to a case or whatever. I'm all in favor of that. I think that's a great idea. It then talked about funding, helping someone within the Public Defenders Council, relocates provisions concerning duties to the Public Defenders Council, and so it pushed some duties there over to the PD Council, which I'm fine with. But one of the things that it attempted to do, which I thought was asinine, which was a word that they used a lot in there, and they talked about it, and I'm glad it was a good word to use here, was it was attempting to curtail the language of elected prosecutors. So, for example, all right, I want to explain. I'll come back and answer that, Ron Jones. That's a good question. I want to explain this. I'm not a fan in any stretch of the imaginations of Marion County's prosecutor, Ryan Mears. I do not like him. I do not think that he is a good prosecutor in the least bit. Okay? Hey, we see that worked. So if we did nothing else, we got Jeff Walls back on YouTube. Thank God. At least that worked. Well, give us the finger if you could. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that too, Tweety Bird. I saw your comment earlier, and I'm going to hit upon that too. So, I don't like Ryan Mears. I don't think he does a good job at his. I don't think he does a good job. And I wish Marion County would get rid of him. I want to be clear. I don't think that he's a bad prosecutor. However, because he says, I am not going to prosecute marijuana cases. Okay. However, there are these people, I guess, out there, Chris Jeters and whoever, that apparently thinks that he is a bad prosecutor because he uses his platform to say, I am not going to prosecute marijuana cases. Listen, we have an election process, and if the people of Marion County don't like that, or if Chris Jeters doesn't like that, he can go and tell people, hey, you shouldn't elect this person next time, and he should work to get him unelected. We have an election process. This is one of the things that I gripe to Dr. Catherine Callahan. She's friends with the sheriff in Madison County. And the sheriff in Madison County blindly followed Ben Gale's order to have me removed from a public meeting simply because I was engaging in my First Amendment right to address and redress the elected officials there. And then the sheriff's like, oh, I don't have discretion. All right. First of all, what we were dealing with there, Bub, was a misdemeanor. And we all know that you do have discretion. Whether or not you want to argue having the discretion or not, I will tell you that the sheriff certainly does not answer to the president of the council. The sheriff is a duly elected constitutional office. He is there he's there. He is to do the will of the people. And while Ben Gale is one of those people as a constituent, he's not. Oh, you're fine. He's not over the sheriff as it relates to the sheriff's duties, to go about his law enforcement duties. So that's one of the things that I get pissy with Catherine about. I'm like, no, he has discretion. So whether we like it or not, Mears has that discretion. Mears is a law enforcement official, and as the duly elected prosecutor of Marion County, he gets to decide, how he's going to spend his time and allocate the resources in his office to do whatever he does. I don't like him, but it's not because he doesn't prosecute marijuana cases. And first of all, that's not true. He does prosecute marijuana cases. He prosecutes them on a case-by-case basis, as they should apply everything in the office. Everything should be a case-by-case basis when you're talking about prosecuting somebody and working towards taking their liberty away from them. When you're talking about putting somebody in prison or penalizing them, it should be done judiciously, and it should be based on the merits of that case. So, the fact that what this bill's trying to do because of that is saying, if a prosecutor speaks out and says something that we don't like, then there is a council that can come in and review them and can work to penalize them, defund them, I don't know, work towards trying to remove them from office. All that's nonsense. And I got to say, there is a representative who I don't think that we're really happy with on this 1186 bill, but what he was saying in that 1006 bill was making sense. He kept bringing up to the various people who were testifying in favor of the 1006 bill. He kept saying, can you explain to me the Dred Scott case? Are you familiar with Dred Scott and what that is? And for those of you that maybe don't know, the Dred Scott case was a situation where the United States government and the Supreme Court ruled and upheld this, that basically said that blacks were slaves. They were not people. They were property. And it was the 3/5 of a person, thing. And so that was upheld. And what this guy did really well was he kept saying, are there laws? Do we have laws that it's ever okay to say, wait a minute, this is a law, but is it right to question it? And is it right to say, I'm not going to follow this law? And of course, everyone around there is like, well, no, that's not okay. Blah, 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 blah. And then at the end, because they kept getting mad at him every time he would ask somebody, are you familiar with the Dred Scott case? They kept saying, stick to what we're talking about. He said, I'll paint it all together at the end. And I love what he did, because at the end, he came back and said, listen, the Dred Scott case was a situation where the highest court of the land upheld it. And now we know that was wildly inappropriate, unjust, unlawful. And actually the people who didn't agree with that at the time were the ones actually fighting for justice. So are there cases where it's appropriate to say, this is the law of the land, because we have 150 people down at the State House that most of them don't know their ass from a hole in the ground, and they're just out here passing willy-nilly laws? Is there ever a time that we could say, wait a minute, this is not the situation? Now, you have to be willing to pay the consequences for that. If that's the thing, if you don't agree with the law, break the law. You just have to be willing to pay those consequences. Sometimes you might have to be penalized for your thought process, but it is what it is, I guess. It's if it's worth doing it to you, then do it. And so I like what he was saying there, but I didn't like that bill. There's a lot of bills in there that they heard today that I felt they didn't have a full grasp on what was going on with them. and they were talking about them, and they all had like one or two pieces that were good, but then they had one part that like fundamentally changed something that was not good, and it's like, ooh, I can't vote for this. And there were a lot of bills like that, 1186 being one of them. And just one more thing before we get into 1186. One of the things that I think is just absolutely insane to me is they were discussing some pretty serious topics today. Obviously, the 1186 is serious to a lot of people. A lot of reserves should be serious to a lot of Hoosiers, and it is serious. They were discussing some bills that related to sexual trafficking and like child abuse and such. And then they were talking about a case that involved a person who was driving in a vehicle, and they were not licensed, not valid driver, suspended or whatever, never been licensed. I don't know exactly which, but basically they did not have a license to be operating a vehicle on the roadways, and they hit and killed a person while driving. And essentially, the law as it stands, if I, Kristopher Bilbrey, who has a driver's license right here, if I go get in the car and I wreck, God forbid, and I hurt somebody, kill somebody, and it wasn't an accident, I was under the influence, or I was jacking around, I was texting, I was speeding, or something stupid, I can be charged with a certain level of crimes being felony, and there can be things that make it higher. But there's this weird loophole that says if you are not a licensed driver, if you're suspended or never been licensed, and you wreck and hurt or kill someone, your charge starts as a misdemeanor. And they were working to deal with this. There was a person the family member had died, and her brother, the dead man's sister, was there to testify. And they're talking about this, and they're like laughing and snickering and just doing this weird, just very inappropriate behavior for what the topic is at the time. Wherever JD Prescott is with his bill that's trying to name the Hoosier State, okay? If they want to snicker while they're talking about that just moronic piece of legislation, have at it. But when you're literally listening to testimony from the sister of a deceased individual who was hit and killed on our roadways by someone who was not licensed, and that person was only able to be charged with a misdemeanor, maybe that's not the appropriate time to be snickering. It might not also be an appropriate time to be snickering when there is a sexual assault victim at the podium and talking about how the fact that she was a victim and victimized and was sexual trafficked for like 6 or more 7 years, and that the man at the top of the trafficking ring, whatever was going on with her, was a sitting judge. Okay? So that just I just wish they were able to read the room a little bit better. And there were a lot of people that spoke out about that, and I thought that was kind of odd too. So okay, now going on to 1186. It got brought up. Steve Bartles is the one that read the law, and I'm not convinced, even though he's the one that read it, and even though wrote it, and even though he's been a police officer, I'm not convinced he fully has an actual grasp on what he is saying and doing. Now, they talked about the situation as it relates to the Marion County deputies. They are now not going to be just magically waved over to tier 1. They're going to be waved over to tier 2. They are waving them over. And he did talk about, Steve Bartles did talk about the situation about if you're in your area and you're pursuing a vehicle, can you go out? Yes. And if you're driving to work and you see a person doing something, can you act? Yes. At one point, he literally brings up the fact that, the main thing that this is trying to address is off-duty employment. And like a lot of people in the chat, like typed at the same time, was, then write a bill that talks about how to safeguard people in those instances. Don't screw with everything else and everybody else because of your opinion on off-duty employment. And it's just, this is something that continues to happen at the State House. They see an issue, and instead of writing for that specific issue, it's like, they're like, we're gonna take care of everything else around it. We're going to just completely blow up everything. It's like bringing a nuclear bomb to a fist fight. Yeah, you're gonna blow the bad guy up that you're trying to fight, or the one's trying to fight you, but you're also blowing everybody else up, and it's too much. It's just overkill. It's insane. And so that happened. Again, they did not allow testimony. I think it's an absolute disservice what they're doing. There is no reason that they should not allow testimony. Todd says, how can you be trusted in your town? And once you leave your city limits, you're less an officer. Yeah, I mean, they keep saying things like, I've heard more than once that when the public looks at somebody who's in uniform, the public should be able to have an expectation that that individual has at least the standard, the standard amount of training. Okay, then let's talk about how to do that with everyone that is under the umbrella of law enforcement. For the guys and gals that are tier 1, cool, great. For the guys and gals that are tier 2, cool, great. For the reserves that don't fall into the category of having been a full-time officer and who've retired and are just working to not totally give away their police arrest powers and who are working to upkeep their certifications. We're not talking about them. But for the reserves that don't technically have the tier 1 or tier 2, but they have all this time and experience. They've been on for 9 years, a decade. They've been on for 15 years. They've done 20 years. We have to be able to recognize the amount of knowledge that these people have. And we have to be able to do something with these individuals. And yeah, let's see here. Ron said it, that he talked about the training gap, and then he said we can't address this to can't address this to next year. And it's like, what? I don't understand why. Why, if that's the issue, why do we not have a bill dealing with that right now? Todd says, just like anything else, look how many tier 1 and tier 2 officers that have gotten DUI or battery, child molestation charges, or I mean, that's the thing. There are good and bad in everything, and you have to work to deal with those bad officers, whether we're talking about those bad officers. Here's one thing I do. And there might be people that don't agree with me about this, but when I'm speaking about, I've got friends that are on the reserves here in Muncie and Delaware County. When I'm addressing them or talking to them or introducing them to people, I don't run to say, oh, look, this is a reserve, because I know how much training they have and I know the amount of experience they have. And when their department looks at them no different than their full-time guys, who am I to make that distinction? I'm not going to make that distinction. So when I'm looking at, a group of friends that I have, and I've got 3 or 4 full-time guys over here and 2 or 3 reserves over here, I don't say, well, this is Deputy so-and-so, well, this is Corporal so-and-so, oh, this is Sergeant, this is Reserve. It's like automatically being done. You're making this person a less than. And it's like, no, I just look, there's a group of deputies over here. Here's Deputy, here's Deputy, I'm just trying to think of who I was talking about, Dye, or here's Deputy Jones, or here's Officer Donker, or whatever. And the other thing is, there are departments that give rank inside their reserve program. Not all of them do, and a lot of that's going away. City of Muncie forever gave rank inside the reserve program. Had their own sergeants, had their own lieutenants. I think they even had a reserve captain at one point. Now, let's be realistic. The reserve captain wasn't out barking orders at like at a full-time sergeant specifically, but they still gave them the respect of being on and having that time, and they went through the process, and it was a very real thing. And there's a lot of people I know that won't do that. They won't, that's just a reserve, that's a bunch of bullshit. And I don't know what Bartle's issue is. It's really funny to me that when this bill passed through the first committee, Bartles puts up a post on his page. Like, look, we've got it through. My bill passed committee. Yay, yay, rah. And he starts getting blasted by all these people. And then all of a sudden, it's gone. The post with the post, if any badge factories have an opening for Rear Admiral, holler at your boy. God. God. That totally took me off what I was saying. That's hilarious. Army reserves. Yeah. Their ranking experience is as worthy of respect as active duty. Absolutely. That is true. Our probation officers completed their 40-hour pre-basic. They are now doing field training in around the 140 and 150 training hours and still in training. If you're a patrol officer, you have a chain of command. There will be times that you need guidance from higher command authority. I can see why the reserves have ranks. Yeah, absolutely. Damn, I forgot what that point was I was making. Anyways, the the bottom line here is this just seems like it's being done in a way to affect some kind of change based off of some wrong that has been perceived by Bartles or somebody else. Oh, that's what I was saying. He had made a Facebook post and people were cutting him down, and then all of a sudden it disappeared. And then all of a sudden today, that post is back. And it's not like he rewrote it. It's like all he did instead of deleting it was he made it private. And now he's posted it back. So I went to Twitter because that's where I try to communicate with elected officials and journalists. Facebook is like for citizens and the people. And Twitter seems to be like where you go if you're really trying to communicate with these people. So I took to Twitter today after the committee was over, and I said I tagged Steve Bartles and said, "Okay, Steve Bartles, today's Court and Criminal Code Committee has wrapped up. I know you're busy, but you should be able to pick up a phone and make a call, or at least have a back and forth text, messenger, and or email conversation. Can we set this up? Or can you at least give me a reason why you can't?" Now, I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for a response from this man. And I don't understand why he can't even be like, "Look, I'm swamped, I'm busy," which would be complete bullshit. But I'm looking for him to say, "Hey, I can't do this," or whatever. You know, he needs to at least be like, "I cannot talk to you because I'm busy." But he's not. And that looks so bad. And what he's doing looks so damn bad. It's nuts. So basically what happened today, you can go and watch it. For those that are wanting to watch it, for those that want to watch and not have all the other nonsense, if you click on the video on our on the political spotlight, and you click on it, you click on that video, and you jump to the 1 hour and 51 minutes, 1 hour 51 minutes, you will then be able to hear what he has to say about and what they all have to say about the bill. At the end of their discussion, and they only had a short discussion on it. Matter of fact, I think that the total time that they discussed it, matter of fact, let's just go look at this. Let me do this. Okay. Tell me if you can hear this.
Taking the correctional professionals, officers, police officers, and employees of the Department of.
Well, it cut out there because amazingly, everything started cutting out right when they started talking about this.
Back in certain instances. So the limitations would be this: if the officer that has less than that tier 1, tier 2 training is in their jurisdiction, nothing changes. Whether they're off duty or on duty, they can wear police insignias and do anything in the scope of what their department allows them. If they're going to leave that jurisdiction, they can do so if they're in the pursuit of, if they're doing investigation work, if they're traveling to and from work, the transportation, if they've been dispatched. I think where the issue comes in is when one of these categories is trying to work off duty. and the issue is wearing the insignia of police. I think that the public and other officers have an expectation that if you have the word police on it, you're trained to some standards. And a lot of the public doesn't recognize or understand that currently a special deputy, a constable requires 0 training.
Then let's do something to change what happens with the constable. Let's do something to change what's going on with how special deputies are handed out, with what they're supposed to be doing or not doing. I'm all in favor of getting, like I said earlier today, if the sheriff of Delaware County, Tony Skinner, called me tomorrow and said, "Hey, come in here. We've got something for you," and I would go in, and he would say, "Bilbrey, the work that you do, doing what you do, it's just so respected, and you're such an amazing individual. We are going to honor you with giving you this special deputy badge and making you an honorary special deputy." Da 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 da. You know what I would do? I'd come home and I would put that special deputy badge on my wall in my shadow box, along with all my other badges from when I was in law enforcement. Put that ID right there, and that's all that would happen. And that would be that. Maybe I would tell a friend or tell whatever. I would not immediately think, all right, well, let's load up, and but I know that there are those people out there. So maybe what we need to do is take any kind of power and authority of those away, so that when sheriff's departments hand those out, it's like an honorary degree. You can call yourself a special deputy all you want, but you don't have lights and sirens in your car. You're not running radar. You're not kicking people's doors in. And if you're carrying a gun, it's because we have constitutional carry here in the state of Indiana. And, you can't you're not out here being Billy Badass. You're not RoboCop. You're just another normal, dickhead out here just living life. That's it. Technically elected sheriffs don't need that's the thing. Now that's the thing. Ron Jones. Hey man, I'm already doing that as it goes. Alva, that's that. Hold on here a second. Let me stand right by for 1 second here. While we're doing this, I'll let you all be entertained by Representative Bartles.
0 training. A reserve officer in the state of Indiana is required to have 5 days of training and then 24 hours in service training every year after that. So what this bill does is say they can operate and wear police insignia for off-duty jobs outside their jurisdiction if they get an MOU, just an understanding with the next higher law enforcement authority that says, yeah, you can do this. You can do this in our district. There's a lot of reserve departments or officers that have gone through some robust training. It's probably comparable to the academy, but I think that's up for the law enforcement community that they're going to be working in to determine, yes, you can come and wear that. It does not stop them from ever wearing security. So they can go outside and wear security. So there's some issues that are brought up that, some of these events that need a lot of officers, they can still do that. They just got to get an MOU to understand that or wear security. So that's just that part of the bill.
Okay, Bartles, but I know you have to remember back to your law enforcement days that you generally don't get to arrest people as a security officer, and Protection Plus, that's doing the work for the Colts, for the NFL, that's doing all the stuff at Lucas Oil and the convention center. The NFL doesn't want security officers that don't have a badge, that don't have a gun, that doesn't have any kind of power to detain people, make arrests if need be. That's just not what's happening, man. And you're surely you're not thinking through what this is going to do. You know, it's nuts. Verbiage matters. Change the word so that it only restricted to gainful employment. So you're basically security guards, according to Thor. I know, right? I was talking to all those cops last night, and I figured I better get my hair cut. So no, back to the free food. What I do is I play not Russian roulette. I play like roulette, spin the wheel, and then I pick out one of the badges here, and I pick one of these out, and then I just walk into my nearest Subway and eat 50% off, and there we go. I need to actually hang this in here somewhere. I'm slowly but surely working on the studio next door to where I'm at here. And so once we get the studio rolling, I think I might hang that up back here. But no, I mean, you know what? That's got so much. It's not even hanging on the wall. It's down on the floor. I need to go in and fix one of the handcuffs came loose. I need to go in there and fix that. I don't even look at that. I don't think about it. I forget about it. You know what I mean? To me, I guess that's the difference. I know that there are people that are out there, even full time, that take advantage of shit, but that's really a few and far between issue. And we should allow the departments and the local municipalities to deal with that. We should let the sheriff's departments, the town marshals, the city police deal with those bad apples and not screw with everybody else. So, oh yeah, that kind of stuff happens all the time, Ron. Absolutely horrible. But you know what? They took those people out. Hey, true story on here. In all the time in law enforcement, as working at the prosecutor's office, I badged people from time to time off duty if there was something crazy going on, and I intervened. There was a story one time when I was actually with my grandparents. We went to lunch. I went to lunch with my grandparents, and I was sitting in the front seat I was sitting in the passenger seat of their van, and we are on High Street in Muncie, and we are right there for the people from the area. No, we were at High Street and Jackson at a stoplight, and I was working for Drug Task Force at the time, and so I was off, but I carry a gun now still every place I'm legally allowed to carry. And so I've got a gun on me, and I've got my badge in my wallet, and just sitting there. And all of a sudden, while we're sitting there, I see this person running, and I didn't think anything about it. People can run, but it was how he was running. Something looked unnatural, and it drew my attention. And all of a sudden I noticed he was running without using his arms. And I was like, what the hell's going on here? And I noticed that he was handcuffed, and he was running, and nobody was chasing after him. Well, then I looked way down, and there were two people running after him, and like there was no way in hell they were going to catch him. And he was just right there. So I popped out of the door. I had flip-flops on. I kicked the flip-flops off, and I chased that old asshole down and badged him and held him there until there was a deputy and a community corrections officer that were chasing after him, and he had knocked the community corrections guy down, and he took off. And had I not been there, and had I not acted, that guy would have got away from. He was going to get away from him. You know, they would have found him eventually, but that happened. So I there were times like that I badged people, but the only time I ever badged someone without a real reason to badge them was, this is such a horrible story. I've told it before on here. It's very horrible. This is one of the worst things that you can do as a cop. I had to pee, and I went into a convenience store that did not allow people to use the bathroom because it was in the Ball State Village, and the students would trash the bathroom. And I went in and I said, "Can I use the restroom?" And they were like, "No." And I was like, because they would let us cops use the bathroom there. And I was like, "Can I please use your bathroom?" And they were like, "No." And I said, "What if I tell you I'm a police officer?" And then I badged my way into the bathroom. So obviously, you know, I'm not one of the bad guys out there getting free food. So it is what it is. But I know that there are assholes out there, and that stuff can be taken care of. You know, that I don't think we need state law to fix that crap. At the end of all of this, he goes on for a few minutes, and he started talking about it at 1 hour, 51 minutes, and like 20 seconds. And he was done talking about, let's see here.
It's what you have in this bill. Is that correct?
Only
language that says, okay, for these 300 people, only posed by the underlying bill, and then the
Representative Gore. Representative Bartels.
just more of a statement, Madam Chair. During this meeting, I just want to verify too that we really discussed the opportunity of the academy to start considering this bridge concept. We do have a lot of reserve programs out there that are robust and probably exceed the tier 2 training at least. So I think that they've been open to at least not probably this session, but at least have a consideration of how we can start.
Why?
Looking at
Why not
certifying,
this session?
at least to some level, some of these programs out there, they're excellent.
Any other comments or questions? All right, can we take this amendment by consent? With a little more enthusiasm. All right. Any committee
So here's the thing. It's over 2:04:43. So they talked about this for 12 minutes. That's all the time that this bill got today. They talked about it for 12 minutes. And at the end of it, what they did is they basically paused it. They did not vote on this. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's not a loss. They didn't pass it. It did not get passed today. It did not get passed today. So that's a win. You can look at that a win. Now, it's not we didn't win the war. It didn't get voted down. It didn't die. But it's not a loss because it didn't get passed. What does this mean? Well, it means it's to be continued. They will have a meeting next week. We don't know when that meeting is yet. To my knowledge, it's not. Let me see here. Let me see here. 6. Okay. Wow, there's some really big thunder out there. So much for that sleet. So yeah, there's nothing else. There's no future dates for this. So they will meet sometime next week. We will obviously keep everybody informed of when that will be. And I would say next week is when they will vote. So this means we still have a week. We still have a week to be able to to be able to talk to them, to be able to explain to them the issues with this bill. We have a week to be able to say, you know, we don't want this. We don't need this. You know, we have some time to be able to, you know, fight this still. Now, I hate saying it. I really, really hate saying this, but I honestly think that it's going to pass. Once it passes, it will then go to the full House. I'm hoping that we will have
Hey, he dropped off, so I think he's lost signal. So hopefully he'll be back on here shortly because Kate does not like being on here by myself. So I will try getting a hold of him to see what's going on. We'll see if they open it for testimony. But we've got this committee vote, the full House vote. Then I'll get sent over to the Senate and Senate committees. And then hopefully it can die in committee there. And it looks like Kristopher's back. Hi, Kristopher.
it. Right as I said that, it lightning, it thundered, and everything went out.
Oh, so everybody was right. Everybody's worried that it was the weather over there. So
Amazing.
you lost power.
Yeah, now it came back on, and I'm waiting for the. I'm waiting for everything to. Well, the microphone's dead. I'm waiting for everything to reboot here, but yeah, I wanted to get back on here. I was like, oh my god,
Oh,
how
that- you
horrible!
don't- I've been listening to Disney songs for the last week, and no.
God, that's amazing, dude. It's really coming down.
Oh, it's snowing here.
Is it really?
We're under winter weather advisory.
When do you come back?
Saturday.
This
At
Saturday? Like in
Mhm.
3 days?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No, I hate them.
You hate what?
Todd's over here in the comments.
Oh yes, yeah. Now that's not what some of your most ardent fans say.
Oh, yeah. I know.
Some would even say that you're attempting to steal the show.
Yes. That's fine. Now, so we're just waiting for your computer to boot.
We can go. I mean, I'm good now. We can go ahead. We can continue like this.
Okay.
if everybody else is okay with it.
Come back to the cold. I brought the cold with me. Y'all in Indiana have been doing like what? It's been 60s?
No, it was one day, but it's been
Well,
freezing cold for the last 3.
well, it was nice enough over the weekend that the boys were barbecuing, which is bullshit.
Yeah.
It's been snowing here all the whole time. So apparently I brought the snow with me and it knows I'm getting ready to come home. So you guys get shit weather again because Kate's coming back.
Right.
You can all blame me for the crap weather.
That's amazing.
Now you wrote you wrote to all the representatives and the senators, right?
Are you talking to me?
Yes, you.
Yeah, I did. A couple times.
Have you gotten any responses back from anyone?
I've gotten a couple back from people that I would normally expect to hear stuff back from that I talk to kind of on a frequent basis. But no one that's connected to this bill in any way. And they're all just like, kind of waiting to hear what happens. I want to answer a questions about that Ron Jones asked early on. He said there are a lot of bills assigned to this committee, and I want to talk about that for a minute because there are a lot of committees. There are a lot of committees that don't get many bills. They get a handful of bills, and then there are some committees that get lots of them, and there bills get sent to committee to die. That's what happens. And like Matt or Mike Commons said the other day, like he said, there are currently 1,200 bills that have been put forward. And of those 1,200 bills, 20% of them will move forward. That's 240 bills out of 1,200. So what happens to the rest of those 1,200? Some of them don't even go to committee. They just get marked off. They're not ever nothing's gonna happen to them. It's gonna get marked off and be dead. The other ones will go to committee and they won't get heard, or they'll go to committee and they'll get voted down and they'll just be dead. It's busy work. Does that make committees murder? Yeah, right. So there are committees that are known to be like places where bills go to die. The Court and Codes Committee isn't normally one of those, but I guess it can happen, for any reason at any time to any committee. But that's unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen with this bill. They will vote on it sometime next week. I think that this bill will go to the full floor, and I think that we will see that happen. So this bill's paused right now. It will be paused until it goes to committee and they vote on it. I foresee them voting on it sometime probably mid next week, Wednesday or Thursday next week. I'm sure they'll vote on it. We will follow it here, and we'll have to see what goes on. So I'll keep you guys posted and we'll know about that. Okay. From there, I want to ooh, look, things are coming back to life. Give me a second. From there, I want to go and talk about the city of Muncie here. Oops. Give me a second here. Let me get this going. Whoops. Okay, so the Muncie Board of Works met today. We want to look through the Muncie Board of Works. Tweety Bird asked if I went to the roundabout meeting tonight. No, I did not know about the roundabout meeting. I did not know that was tonight. I did not know that. So I will have to find out what happened there. I'm sure I know people who did, so I will have to find out what exactly went on, and I will ask them, and we'll talk about that. So the Board of Works meeting today. Hopefully I will be logged back into the computer here in just a second, and we can play this for you. Oh yeah, look, it's getting ready. The Board of Works. So did you go? What do you mean it was a disappointment? Explain what you mean by that while we're waiting on this to open up here. Yeah, we've got some dust and dirt. So how was it a disappointment? What were they? What did it do or not do that you wanted it to, or that you thought it should have done? I don't know. I didn't know anything about it. They took no questions. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Who put the meeting on? Okay. This is almost going here, folks. Oh, I knew it was going to do that. We have roundabouts in Muncie, and they're doing some meetings to find out where were the representatives from? Man, come on! I got to get this done. While we're doing this, while I'm waiting, I do want to let everybody know. I will be live tomorrow. Catherine's coming on. Again, normally we are off on Fridays, but we've got a really big announcement that we need to get out. We're going to we're going to have we're going to have 2 guests on with us. It'll be me and Catherine, and then 2 other guests. So tomorrow's going to be a big show. So remember, this is a big reminder. We are normally off on Fridays, but tomorrow is going to be a big show, and we have 2 guests that are going to join us from Madison County, and it's very big. And tomorrow will be a big show. So, oops. Give me a second here. Wait a minute. I'm glad you said that. No. Is tomorrow Thursday? No, tomorrow's Thursday. I'll be here like regular. It's Friday that we're doing the show with Catherine. So I'm glad that you pointed that out. That's thank you for doing that. Okay. All right. I think we're good here. Check, check. Check, check. Yeah, you're right. I'll be here tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday. We'll be here tomorrow like normal. Forget I said it. I forget that. Today has felt like Thursday all day long to me for some reason. So I'll be here tomorrow like normal, and hopefully we'll be dealing with a normal show. And then Friday, I will be here with Catherine. So that's a good thing that it's like that, actually, because I am needing to make sure that we get the word out, because I want to make sure that we are to hell with this. We're having here's the thing. I'm going to go ahead and kill it. We're going to go ahead and kill this. And then tune in tomorrow. I'll tell you about Dustin tomorrow. We'll start off. I need to reboot everything from everything happening and getting kicked off. I'm going to have gremlins all night. I've got the round ball of death going around. We'll go ahead and we'll end the show. I apologize, but we're having weather and technical issues. I will go through and redo everything. We'll get everything done. And then just tune in tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll do the show. I'll talk about Dustin. It'll be the big Dustin makeup show. I apologize. So just keep on your plate. We'll do the show tomorrow for Dustin. And then Friday we'll be here with Catherine. I'm sorry about that confusion, but rather than trying to fight it, we will be back, and I'll just do it all tomorrow. That way we don't have to fight this nonsense. And I still hear it picking up outside, and I don't want to get halfway through it and it kill us. So we will just cut it here. We'll be back tomorrow. I apologize, but weather is what weather does. Everybody be safe out there. Take care of yourselves. God bless each and every one of you. Have a good night. Hopefully this doesn't turn into ice. If it does, stay warm, stay safe, be careful. And weather permitting, we'll be back tomorrow, and we'll keep you guys posted. And remember, mark down in your mind, mark down on your calendar, go through really quickly and hit the bell before you leave. Hit the bell before you leave. That way you will get notified when we go live. But all right, you guys take care. Have a good evening. God bless you. And goodbye.
Muncie.